recording. Hey guys, welcome to our on 26. Seriously about to in.
There we go.
It's always so refreshing when you hit mute. We have a super special guest today, which I'm actually going to let Diane introduce because thankfully Diane is the one who brought this idea to us today. So we're really excited. We have Steve and Shanda back there.
Hey, buddy.
They're not.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Kuskovich.
Yeah, they came in to come see us. I see Trip.
They came in all the way from Connecticut. They drove almost 9 hours to spend a couple days with us.
So we had a nice dinner last night. We went to Pittsburgh today. Spent the day. Had a great day. A little bit of just learning and talking, getting to know each other.
Yep.
Fun.
It's been fun. So
been awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Diane. Take it away, girlfriend. I'm gonna mute myself. So.
All right. Hope you guys can all hear me okay. Listen, I am super excited to introduce you guys to Amy Kilpatrick. Amy is a personal consultant and corporate trainer, and she specializes in business growth and development. Her gift is teaching people how to put an effective strategy in place to keep the prospect funnel full, all utilizing referral marketing. So with that quick intro, Amy, I'm just going to kick it on over to you and let you share what you do.
All right, just make sure everybody can see me. Sorry, real quick, pushing the wrong buttons here. Can everybody see me, or do we need to turn me on?
Well, we can see you and hear you. You're good.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So first of all, I just want to thank everybody for obviously putting this together tonight. Diane, for graciously making the introductions. But let me tell everybody a little bit about who I am, what I do, and everything. And then, of course, we're going to allow for a little bit of time for questions and answers. That way, if I cover something that maybe gets you thinking, stop, write a note to the side. We'll leave an answer for Q&A. And then, of course, if there's a question that would take us longer beyond our time, I'm going to give you guys a way that you can get connected to me where I can maybe answer a question personally for you. So let me tell you a little bit about my background. I saw the Zoom introduction saying I'm a master guru on referral marketing, but let me give you a little bit of background for me first. I have a degree in accounting, so I'm not going to bore you tonight and talk about debits and credits and things like that, but it does let you kind of understand that I do come from the approach of looking at people's businesses from the fact that I have a goal to teach people how to make more money. And what I mean about making more money, it's not just increasing your revenue, it's about increasing your bottom line. And what I mean by that is a lot of people can tell you how to generate leads and how to generate opportunities, but that doesn't necessarily mean by the time you factor in your expenses, your time, and everything that you've actually made money on your bottom line. So one of the things I specialize in is referral marketing. And I got into referral marketing about 16, 17 years ago because what I didn't know when I first got into accounting, in the beginning I had worked in private accounting, so you basically work for a company, you're assigned duties, you go through everything. That was easy. And then my career shifted and I got into public accounting. Well, again, I'm thinking I am very equipped with everything I need to do. I've got my degree, I know how to do everything, and I learned very quickly that it didn't matter how many tax returns I did or how many debits or credits I had balanced. If I didn't know how to pick up clients and grow my book of business, then I was always going to be stuck in that cubicle. I was always going to be what I call assigned the shoebox clients. And you know who you are. Those are the ones out there that take all your stuff to your accountant in a shoebox and basically expect miracles to happen. And what I found is that if you were a staff accountant at an accounting firm, that if you don't go out there and pick up your own clients, then you would get assigned the clients no one else wanted. And so fast forward a couple of years, that was kind of sinking in. Someone came in and did a personality assessment test, and they went back to the partners and said, hey, the little blonde in the back cubicle, she'll make you more money out there than she will behind the desk. Now, I billed out by the hour, so that didn't make a lot of sense to me in the beginning. But what she was saying is that I had the personality traits to go out there and pick up clients. So I had the skill sets, I had the knowledge to do the work for the client, and yet they sent us out there. They put us on this marketing team. Now, they had never had a marketing team before, so you can imagine an accounting firm deciding to start a marketing team. They gave us everything we needed. We had promotional items. We were members of everything, chambers, Rotary. We had nice name tags. We were dressed nice. We had brochures. We were equipped with all kind of marketing tools that you can imagine. And we would go out to events after events, evening events, lunch and learns, mixers, business expos, all of these things that you normally are told you got to get out there and go do all of this. So we did. And here we are, we're setting up our tables. And I always laugh and tell everybody, they even gave me a popcorn machine for me to pop popcorn at these events. The only time you knew it was me is that I would burn the popcorn while I was trying to network. So it didn't work very well. But the problem was I'd go back to the partners meeting, and they'd sit around and they would say, well, how many connections did you make? And we would have these stacks of business cards, from the fishbowl or just from exchanging. And so I'd come back and I'd go, well, look how many contacts I have. Look at all these business cards I have. And they'd go, great. How many new clients do you have? Nothing. Not one. Because it was like, well, when are you supposed to turn someone into a client when you're standing in the chicken dinner line at a networking event? When you're at a lunch and learn and there's someone to your left or to your right? And while I am very comfortable, I can talk to the wall if I need to, that is not the same as having a conversation to convert someone from a prospect into an opportunity to sit down and talk with them. So I began to be very frustrated until I discovered referral marketing. And for me, this is my definition of referral marketing or networking. It's the skill sets that you need to connect yourself with another person or another business that will help you get where you want to go. So what I mean by that is that there are times that you will need to build a referral marketing strategy plan for your business. So a lot of people, and you'll even hear me use the word networking, and a lot of people misuse the word networking. They think I'm going to come on and talk about how you should shake hands and how you should mix and mingle at events. Look, networking events are an activity that you can do in your referral marketing strategy. But you have to also know, for some of you, could be introverts right here on this call. And the thought of go into a mixer or mingle and exchanging business cards, the last thing you want to do. Some of you could be on this call and this is another career that you're doing and you have a full-time job during the day. So going out to other events, not an option. So there's different obstacles that are out there, but it's more than just showing up and exchanging business cards. A lot of people will teach leads and sales generation. I train referral marketing. So you've got to connect yourself. So there's a strategy. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about, what you need to know before you go into meetings. My ideal of what a referral is versus a lead and why it is a very distinct difference between the two and how you can use both, but I focus more on referrals. And then, of course, talking about who you should be connected to. And I said an individual or a business. So I'm going to talk about the difference between having a referral partner or a referral source. And that if you build it right, you can generate and fill your funnel with referrals. versus just filling it through with leads. Leads aren't always great conversions into closed business, where referrals, if you work it right, you have a higher level of conversion rate to go into closed business. Now, when I work with multi-level marketing or companies, I know that you guys have two different ways that you can make money. Some of you are focused on and being able to the product, having someone sign up for your service. And then some of you want to grow your team. For some of you want to do both. So I'm going to ask you, when we go through this process, think about those two things as two different ways to apply some of the tips that I'm talking about here. If you get stuck kind of switching from one to the other, then we'll definitely try to address that in the Q&A. But right now, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is really think about what is the number one way you want to focus on your business for tonight's call only, so that you're not trying to do both while we're on the phone. So think about, is this something that you really want to focus over the next month, or the most immediate need is growing your team? Or is it picking up someone else to sign up for the direct seller opportunity, the service side of it? So think about that, because what we're going to talk about first is what is the difference between a lead and a referral. So what I always talk about this, I hate cold calls. In fact, I am now 18 years cold call free. I love the fact that I don't have to make cold calls. I have grown every one of my business through referral marketing, through other people telling people about me and recommending me and introducing me. Those are two key words you will hear me say over and over again. So the difference between a lead and a referral. So I want you to think about that target market or that prospect that you're trying to get to. Maybe it is your referral partner. Maybe it's to a target market. Maybe it's to your golden goose introduction. You know, wherever it is that you're trying to get to, you see it. You've educated your referral partners, maybe your family members, your friends. You've told them who you'd like to meet. They recognize it. We're going to talk about trigger words and how to recognize all of that. But they see that opportunity for you. And they come back and they tell you about that opportunity. Maybe they tell you, oh, I've got a friend that would be great. Or I know someone who buys wine, or someone who would like to host this. And they tell you all about the opportunity. And you're like, great. Did you tell them about me? And they go, no. So the first time that opportunity is even going to hear about you is from you. That's a lead. Okay, so think about that. You know, if you want to chase those, by all means, go for that. However, I'm going to tell you the first challenge you have anytime you're dealing with leads is that in the first little bit, you are in absolute sales mode. You are having to tell people who you are, what you do, and why you're calling them, how you got them, before you can ever get to, to the reason why you need to talk to them. If someone has referred you, then to me, that is where we begin, that here's where you want to get to. And your referral partners, which are your friends, your family, your colleagues, your existing clients, maybe someone inside a structured network environment, that they have either made the first recommendation or introduction on your behalf to that prospect. Okay? Now, there's a difference between an introduction and a recommendation. So we're going to talk about the difference between the two of those, but what I'm going to focus on tonight is referrals rather than leads, okay? So I always tell everybody, if you're having a problem, if you're getting in front of that prospect and you're not closing the door, then you probably need to listen to someone who specializes in sales training, how to close the sale, how to get over objectives, things like that. What I'm going to get you to is how to get to the opportunity. And if you can increase how often you can get to the opportunity, with a higher level of success of being introduced and recommended, then you have a better chance of closing on that opportunity than you do on lead. Why do I feel so strong to be able to say that? Because I've done it for 18 years. I can promise you, when someone has made an introduction for me, recommendation, I have a much better chance at closing that than I ever do when I'm just door knocking or showing up on a cold call. So let me talk to you guys about where do you even get started? And this is something that, Diane has heard me talk and preach on this for years. I believe before you do anything, when you're building a strategy, you ultimately have to know your target market. And that's a word a lot of people go, what's your target market? What's your target market? So let me tell you this. If you're looking at your business opportunity versus the person who would buy your product or service. So this is where you got to decide tonight which one you want to focus on. The nice thing about use one, and then when you get off the call tonight, just duplicate that same thought process with the other side of the business, okay? But if you're sitting here tonight trying to take notes on both, you could get lost. So let's talk about target market. For me, when I begin to work with people, one of the first things I talk about with target market is I want you to picture what your ideal client actually looks like. Maybe word it this way. What would an ideal person on my team look like? What does that mean for you? So why do I say ideal? I can promise you, if I was standing in front of a room full of y'all and I could see you raise your hands and I asked you to raise your hand if you have clients, everyone's hand would go up. If I told you leave them up if every single one of your clients is ideal, I promise you every hand would go down, because everybody knows that at some point you could have an undesirable client, right? And for various reasons, depending on your services, it could be someone who fails to pay you, someone who's a complainer, someone who, if you're adding someone to your team, maybe they're always negative. Think about the things that you would rather stay away from. Well, then that creates the thought process, well, what do I want to bring to me? So when you think about referral marketing or word of mouth marketing, it's your words that you will generate your results with. So when I begin to think about my target market, I start writing down a list of the attributes of what makes that person an ideal client. Because if I'm going to train someone to bring that to me, which means I have to use my words to train them, then I need to use descriptive words. I need to describe everything about that client base that I want to duplicate over and over and over again. You see, if you use the shotgun approach, then odds are you'll pick up a variety of clients, undesirable clients and ideal clients. So my thing is, if you have a choice, and one of the things I train on is that, believe it or not, you actually have control of the words that come out of your mouth. You have control of that. So when you begin to tell people and they ask you, how can I help you? Or what does a client look like for you? If you have failed to do your homework and you fail to have the words in place to describe what your ideal client looks like, what your ideal opportunity looks like, who you want to be introduced to, how that introduction should be made, then what happens is assumptions are made. We all know about assumptions. The other person is filling in the gap on your behalf. And so what happens is they may bring you or recommend you or introduce you to someone who is not your client base. It could be someone who doesn't even like wine, or maybe they don't have the finances to pay on a monthly basis. Maybe it's someone who has no clue about adding onto a team. So why should you go through that process of weeding out people on the behind side of it versus being very proactive and describing to people exactly what you want. See, referral marketing is like a boomerang effect. What you throw out there is what you're going to get back. So do your homework a little bit. And so one of the things I start with is I will literally have my clients sit down with a stick figure, and I will have them use all kind of descriptive words. So if you're working on the team building tonight, I want you to sit down and use descriptive words. What makes someone want to get involved and be on your team? What are those attributes? Is it that they're looking for a second income? Is it that they have, a kid going to college? Is it that they want to pay off debt? Is it that they want to add to their retirement? What is that need that is going to cause them to say, yes, I do want to listen to this opportunity? Is it that they have a 9-to-5 job and they want a flex time job? Is it that they're in college and would like to have opportunities to work around a schedule? Do they have travel disabilities and need to work from home and want to use the social media aspect? You know the different reasons why people would be attracted to this opportunity. Let's flip it to the person who's focusing on the person who would want to sign up for this opportunity to have the wines delivered to the door. Well, what are those attributes? What causes someone? Is it someone that they have a love of wine? Is it that they want to experience a variety of wines? Is it that they don't know how to pick out different wines and they just want someone to do it for them? All the reasons that you are ready to go into sales mode, think about all the reasons that you could come and say, this is the benefits. I want you to list down all the attributes. Is it a price bracket? Is it their hobbies and interests that if you look at that target market, can you begin to identify some traits that you would be able to say these type of people tend to want to get into, have wine delivered at their house? And so what you do is you get this picture of your target market. Once you have an idea of your target market, I always tell people you got to build your strategy around that. Your social media should speak to that target market. The images that you use on your social media, you can't just go out to social media and sell. It has to speak to the person that you're trying to talk to. It's got to be an image that someone's willing to take and share on their own page. So you've got to think about, what would my target market want? What would their images? What is their lifestyle? What images would I pull in order to talk to them on social media? Listen, this spamming that is happening on social media and private messaging, it will get you blocked and unfriended in a heartbeat. Instead, you want where your referral partners that you're connected with are sharing your post and commenting and tagging people to it. You want to be introduced and recommended on your social media just like you want to in person. So you got to speak to your target market. If it's to grow in the business, hit on those needs that people have, that if they have a second job or a job like this, that this would create the opportunity or the solution for it, and begin to post that way. If you're always talking or you're always selling, people will turn you off. You're not the only opportunity out there. You're not the only opportunity. And if you want someone on your team, tell people why they should be on your team versus another person. What are you going to bring to the table? What are you going to deliver to those people? Are you going to do support calls? Are you going to help them out? What is it that makes you different than anyone else? You have to speak on that. So you've got to watch that. So once you've got your target market and you begin to think about that strategy out there and you list all those attributes, I want you to then go look at the attributes in a different way. I want you to look at it and go, wow, what businesses out there service that same target market? So I'm going to give you a quick example. Just bear with me. It's a completely different company because sometimes I need you to get out of your thought process in order to apply it to yourself. Let's say your target market was someone who owned pets, okay? And then you begin to think about that person who owns pets. Maybe they, all the things that you could have with a pet. You start thinking about other businesses who service people who own pets. You begin to list industries. It could be a groomer. It can be a veterinarian. It could be people who want to put in hardwood floors, carpet cleaners, maid services, pet gourmet food. You can come up with about 20 to 30 businesses who offer businesses to people who own pets. Let's say you're one of them. So what you begin to do is a list of people that you now have another business, or they have another business that is focused on the same target market as you, and you begin to reach out to them. That's that connecting to another business. And you begin to open up the dialogue of what would it look like if we built a strategic alliance with one another, where we are openly recommending one another to our client base, not necessarily saying, hey, give me all your list, but would you be willing to share my post? Would you be willing to put a link on your Facebook page? Would you be willing to feature me in your newsletter? Whatever it is, could we do a joint marketing event with each other? What is a way that we can showcase each other to a client base that we share? They have the same attributes. When you begin to think about that, your target market is a transactional referral. That is someone that is you're being recommended to, or they're being recommended to you. A referral partner is someone who owns their own business. You are not trying to sell to them. They are not trying to become a client. If they do, that's great. But if they don't, that's fine. What you're trying to get to, I always kind of date myself, is to that Rolodex of their contacts. You're trying to get to their client base through them. And so what you begin to do is you need introductions. When you begin to think about introductions, if you're using LinkedIn, what you then can do is go out to LinkedIn. Use the filter feature. And I always have people, well, I'm not connected to a lot of businesses. Go start searching for industries that you've come up with that are focused in the same direction of you. And I understand you guys are reaching out to the UK next week. I had someone ask me, well, how would I get to people there? Use your social media. Begin to connect with different businesses. Begin to go out and search and use the filter, so where you can go out and say, I'm looking for this industry, for instance, dog groomers in this zip code or this country, and begin to reach out to them and start a dialogue, not a sales pitch. You're not going to send that first message to them and say, oh, sign up for this, do this, join my team. Instead, reach out to them and say, I selected your industry and you particularly because I believe that you may have the same target market as I do. Would you be interested in setting up a call to see if there's any way that we could build a strategic alliance with one another? Maybe another way in a local market, you could reach out to them and say, hey, I would like to get to know you better and your business in case any of my clients have a need for your service. I would be able to recommend you personally rather than sending them out to Google. What you're doing is opening up dialogue to begin conversation on strategic alliance marketing. When you do that, what I love about strategic alliance marketing is that while I am working in my business, I am working on my clients, I'm building my social media strategy, my referral partners are out there recommending me and introducing me. So you have a way where you can work in your business and on your business at the same time. And that is a powerful way of filling your funnel. Here's the difference between sales and referral marketing to me. If I am only relying on generating leads and sales opportunities for me, I start every month at zero. And I have to begin to build every single month. And I start over again and again. When I have referral marketing, I still today get referrals from people I build a relationship with 18 years ago. I just have to remind them I don't do accounting anymore. I just have to re-educate them on what a great referral for me. But my credibility has not changed. Just the service I provide has. And so I'm able to still build my business years later, and it's a way more sustainable way of growing your business than having to start over every single month. Now, I understand there's people out there that teach sales trainings, and I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just telling you that if you have a small budget, if you need to use social media, if you only have time in your day to really kind of reach out, be strategic with it. Go out there and reach and connect with people who have more opportunity to introduce you to your ideal client base. It's much better to start with that than just to start every day with what's next? What do I go to? If I go to a networking event, instead of walking into a room and scoping out who's drinking wine and trying to sell to them, why don't you walk into a room with a list of industries that you're looking for? Then when you're exchanging business cards, you can come back to your desk and put them in different piles. This is businesses that I really cannot see how we would be connected in any way. The other would be a stack of these are businesses that I believe we might share an attribute on a particular target market. Let me reach out to them and see if there's a way that we can go to coffee and talk about helping each other grow our businesses. I promise you, people will reach out and connect with you, but you've got to make sure you're not reaching out to them first and selling to them. That will have people close doors. They're going to ignore you. They're going to unfriend you. They're going to ask you not to contact them anymore. I am telling you, business people out there will connect with you to help you grow your business. And I've been training it and teaching people for many, many years on this. And again, focus down on a couple of attributes, build a list of referral partners, and start reaching out to them, and then begin to, what I call them, make sure they're willing, wanting, and able. Willing to sit down with you, wanting to learn how to refer you, how to recommend you or introduce you, and then that they're able to. You have equipped them with the words and everything it is that you would have them do. Remember, you want them to recommend or introduce you properly. So you've got to train people how to do that. I teach that. That's what I call strategy sessions. That's where you have to sit down with these potential referral partners and train them on how to introduce you and recommend you. And that is where it becomes very strategic. I do say you can do these in person. You can do them over Zoom. You can do them over the phone. If someone is intentional and they truly want to become part of your success story and they want to help, you want to help them become part of theirs, they're open to a variety of ways of you guys get to know each other. And then what you'll find is that they are now willing to share your post. Facebook got smart years ago. They kind of put out there on the business Facebook page that unless you're buying ads, not too many people are seeing what you're posting. So a lot of people are having to do these groups. A lot of people are putting up these pages, and then you're having to share it over onto your individual page. And you're hoping that the people that you're connected with are seeing everything you have. When you have a group of referral partners, and it's really great when you can get that group to meet as a mastermind group and you're all going in the same direction. I call that a power team. And, when you get that and you go, hey, guys, I'm going to make a post tomorrow on here. When you see it, can you grab it, share it? We call it like, comment, and share. The minimum, like it. The next, make a comment about it. And then the next, make a like it, comment, and share it on your personal page so your connections see it. And when you do that for them and they do that for you, then you're getting what I call free advertising. You're not having to boost posts. You are boosted the minute that people sit out there and share your information. So I always tell people, we'll kind of backtrack. You want to make sure that when you're thinking about referral marketing, it's not just showing up, exchanging business cards. It's about having a strategy in place. Know before you go. Understand what your target market looks like. Describe all the attributes. Am I in the right setting to talk to someone about the opportunity, or am I in the right setting to talk to someone about the product? If you're not in the right opportunity to go into sales mode, go into networking mode and begin to look at that room for what people do in their own industry. Where do they work? Who are they connected with? And start thinking about how could we begin to strategize with each other. But it starts with your target market, and then you build a list of referral partners, and then be intentional about it. There's nothing wrong with setting up a Zoom meeting or over coffee and saying, hey, why don't we explore what it would look like to help each other grow each other's business? Are you open to that? Sometimes you'll get a no. Very rarely do I get a no when I ask people to do that. And guarantee you, if I reached out and tried to sell to them, I'm probably going to get a no, okay? But if you reach out to them with, and it's got to be with honest intent, I truly would be interested in learning how to refer you. I would just like to have the opportunity to teach you how to refer me. And when I have those open, honest conversations with people, it has been a tremendous boost to my businesses. And of course, I do different referral partners based on different target markets. So who may be able to help you grow your business opportunity may be completely different than the referral partners that are able to introduce you to people who want your product or services. Now, I've given you a lot of information here tonight. I'm going to go down here. I believe all the comments might be in the chats, and see if anyone has any questions out here. Let me see real quick. Let's see. If somebody's got a specific question, I'm going on here to see about more. Sorry, guys. It's out here. Okay, so it's letting me see the chats. Does anyone have a question about like the target market or who would be a great referral partner out there? Very specific to ask about it. Because one of the things I get a lot of times is when you start to think about the target market, well, you know, and you guys know every business is a little different. So you begin to think about, well, who would be the attributes? How would I break that down? I begin to think about this. List down challenges that you're the solution to. Okay, and so when you begin to think about challenges, that actually makes you describe your target market. People who, so especially if you're thinking about building your team, think about what is the solution someone would have if they had this business opportunity. And again, it may be something like the flex hours, they want extra income, they want to be able to grow, you know, they're interested in having a schedule that they can work from home, or a business they can work from home. And you begin to think about that. Once you realize that you've identified with a particular target market, then that's kind of, you know, I always tell people it's the same as when you're doing referral marketing or any type of advertising. Anytime you can tie your name to a certain thought process and then it works for you to grow, you want to repeat it over and over and over again. So begin to think about, what is that target market? Who's already been attracted to my team? Who's already been attracted to the service or the product side of it? And then think, okay, what made that ideal? Which ones do I want to repeat? And you begin to track that as a strategy. And that's where you can start with your target market. So somebody said they just started some referral marketing yesterday and they're so excited about it. So when you talk about referral marketing, is that on the social media side? Let's see, who was it? Ryan. What does that mean? When you said I did some referral marketing, did you attend an event or did you reach out to somebody? Can you give me a little bit more information on that? And I'll let you type that. Brittany, you said the ideal business partner using social media. Absolutely. One of the things that a lot of people are really scared versus Facebook versus LinkedIn, who should I connect to? You know, Facebook, I usually like to see who the mutual friends are, and if I don't recognize them, then I'm probably not going to accept that. LinkedIn's a little bit different. It is more your professional thing, you know, so if you haven't refreshed your LinkedIn profile in a while, go do that. Make sure you list out there under your services that, you know, not only the business opportunity, but also the product side of it. But go look. LinkedIn's a professional resume. You know, you're seeing where everybody works. I am more likely to connect with someone on LinkedIn than I am on Facebook if I don't know them. The more you get connected on LinkedIn, then the more that filter feature works. And of course, the filter feature works if you have the premium out there, you get more options. So just think about that. Someone said they're going to their first networking event. So here's a little tip when you're going to the networking event. I always tell, if you're a woman, leave your pocketbook in the car and take in, you know, something with pockets. Carry your business card in one hand and your handshake is ready on the other. Make sure your name tag is ready to go. And you know, when you go to exchange, I never think someone wants my business cards. I always ask for theirs first. And then, of course, mine are right in the hand, so, of course, they're ready to take mine. But I always have pockets, and I kind of talk to them. I'll ask them, hey, tell me about your target market. Because here's the deal. If you ask somebody what they do, unfortunately, sometimes you get stuck hearing about it, and you can't get away from that conversation, and they think that's an opening for a sales pitch. So a lot of times I'll ask them, tell me what your target market looks like, which way you're trying to grow your business. And really ask these questions. And then when you hear someone say something similar to the list you come up with, then you can just right there use my always get a yes scenario and say, you know, I believe we're going after the same target market. Would you like to get together over coffee? You could tell me a little bit more. I can learn more about your business. So if any of my clients or contacts need your services, I'd feel more comfortable referring you. So of course you're giving it to them first, and it opens up that beginning stage of, you know, the always get a yes strategic marketing scenario. Reach out to someone that I happened to overhear at dinner was opening a lingerie store, and we're going to meet about promoting each other's. Absolutely. With lingerie, I mean, you know, I know we got the gentleman on here, but I love pajamas, but let's face it, it's a little extra to pay for lingerie. When you're talking about wine, you're talking about someone who's willing to, you know, pay that, you know, it is a different thought process. And so you want to think about, well, who would be the businesses out there that would probably have the clientele that would most likely, I'm not saying that there aren't different people that would every now and then that are going to sign up that you're going to go, wow, I would have never thought that would have been someone that would have been interested. But there are, when you can narrow it down to a target market, you go, these are the people that are most likely to sign up on a regular basis and maintain the, you know, the arrangement, then that's where you want to duplicate that. Your biggest problem is trying to figure out what to say and how to say it on social media. So start with this. Describe your target market. So come up with some industry, you know, the attributes. Go find images that match those attributes. So let's use the team building first. If we say someone having to pay for a 16-year-old on their car insurance now, or wanting to buy a car, or want to travel, or maybe they want to get out of debt. List those challenges out. Go find images that reflect that challenge. Okay, so let your images speak for yourself, and then use, there's a lot of softwares out there. I think Canva, I personally use Bannersnap, where you can then impose the text over the image and say, you know, if you want to earn more income or just got hit with that first insurance bill when your kid turned 16, come, you know, talk to me. So what you do is it's a more subtle way. You're identifying with the hurt, but you're giving them the solution, and the solution is for them to call you. Try that first. And then, of course, you can play around with the other target market. You know, obviously, if you enjoy wines, want someone to pick out the wine. Maybe you have someone that's puckering up and go tired of buying wine and not knowing if it's going to be any good. So start with images first. People are more likely to share images than they are just text. And of course, that's what you're trying to do with that. I hope that helped. There's a little bit more strategy there, but maybe that's a little bit way for you to get started with. It's being hosted, my biggest problem, it's being hosted by a realty company. You know, one great thing you might want to do is, you know, with realtors, they're always given those closing gifts for home welcome to your new home. And how cool would it be if the realtor's not having to think about going to buy the gifts because their gift is being delivered to their house? Or maybe they give the gift to the homeowner where they have the wine. And so there might be some different ways that you're able to approach that. I always tell everybody, if you can get into with one industry that's going to feed your business over and over again, repeat it over and over and over again. If you design, if realtors make a great referral source and a target market for you, I would let your images, your flyers, your social media speak to realtors, okay? And think about that. So talking about they have a video for that. So great. I mean, there's just some ways that you can do. What do you use for your images? Okay. You got to be careful. A lot of people think that they can just go Google images and download them. If you happen to use someone's image and you're trying to promote it on your business opportunity, you could be breaking copyright laws and not paying for those images for royalties. I personally use a site. It's called 123rf.com, and it allows me to buy the rights to use the images. So if I'm using it in something to sell my products, I have the right to do that because I've paid them for it. And it's not a big cost. I buy it by a package, and I download the smallest, it's a point system. So I download the smallest, but I have full access to use them in the way that I need to. I don't know. Yeah, I think about the images. So be careful with that. A lot of people, let's say they're royalty-free sites. I've heard some really bad horror stories with that. And so you want to be really careful with that. Go ahead. This is a business. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money, and that's not a lot of money to spend on to make sure you're covered. Any other last questions out there? So I'm not quite sure. I'll just kind of do this, and then I'll let Sherry and them wrap up their call. I hope I've let somebody think a little bit if I've given you just one nugget. I know some people like to go back and really look at stuff, so I came up with a code tonight. We'll be running it all through August, but I came up with one just for you guys tonight. If any of you have used udemy.com, it's the online training platform where you can go out and take classes. If you go out to that, I've got a lot of what I've talked about tonight on a class where you can actually have workbooks and work through some of the things we're talking about tonight. If you go out to that class is normally $199. If you use the code, I created it for you guys tonight, DC for direct seller, August 2017. I'll send the link to Sherry and she can pass it out to you guys, or you can just go out to udemy.com, look my name up, and use that code. It takes it down to $39, and that will be there for the entire month of August. And of course, in a minute in the chat, I'll put the link out there to my book. If you do it on a paperback, or I'm sorry, ebook, it's $5.99 on Amazon. And then, of course, if you are interested, I do not like to spam people, but if you are interested, starting in August, we will be doing weekly tips on how to build a referral marketing strategy. If you would like to get in that, anytime you can unsubscribe, and I'll be doing webinars and things like that. If you want to be on that, if you'll go out to my website, Inspired Networking, and that's inspired spelled without the I, so inspirednetworking.com. And if you'll go out to Stay Inspired, okay, so the Stay Inspired link, you'll see a form you fill out. All that is going to give me your name and your email and tell me, yes, I'd like more information. You've got different things. Just choose one. That's fine. And then in August, you'll get the first email. If you like it, stay on it. If not, get off of it. It's absolutely fine. But it's just a way to get plugged in and get small tips without having, take it in step by step by step to build your strategy session. And so that's out there. I'll post the information in the chat in just a moment. That way you can go find it, and I'll give it to Sherry. But I wanted to say thank you to Diane for making the introduction tonight. for me to have the opportunity to come on and share my passion about referral marketing, and of course, give you some ways to think about building your strategy. So I appreciate it, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I've heard nothing but great things about direct sellers, and I'm just really excited to kind of watch you guys explode and watch this opportunity grow for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. That was awesome. I got a lot of good notes written down. Yeah, like they always tell us, like our businesses are built on referrals. But
Yes.
I don't think anybody really understands how to get those referrals. So this was super, super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I have people tell me all the time, oh, I grow my business through word of mouth. And I go, great. What's your strategy? And they just sit there and I'm like, yeah. So if something's so good, don't you think you need to have a strategy to repeat it?
Right. Yeah, this makes total sense. So awesome. Thank you so much. I will share your link if you send it, and
I will.
we'll get some people joining your training. So that's awesome. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Sherry. Thank you.
Diane, for the introduction. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good night. See you next week.